You know, my life's timing can be pretty funny. It was only a few weeks ago that events in my life led me to fully understand the lesson of daring don't. In fact, if a similar lesson had been given for Princess Twilight Sparkle, I might not have had enough context through personal experience to properly interpret and convey this. I'm guilty on multiple counts of falling short of daring don't's moral. It's also a tad complex, so be sure to pay attention because I know I had to. It's good to have role models, heroes, or people we look up to in general. In fact, it's even important that we have those figures in our lives, as it is extremely difficult to know how we can better ourselves without having some form of comparison by which we can mark our progress. Without this, people often become prematurely satisfied with themselves and stop growing, or they forget what they were striding towards and lose motivation. However, it's very easy to aim too high. When this happens, it's even easier to fall into the rut of placing those we admire on such a pedestal that we forget our own worth. Just as Twilight had said. This will leave us in a state of perpetual want for a goal that cannot be achieved. Conversely, it's also likely that when our heroes themselves fail to uphold the standard that we place them on, we lose motivation to be like them. I see both of these scenarios make people give up on their goals on a regular basis. Rainbow Dash allowed her perceptions of daring do to color her judgment while simultaneously getting swept up in the idea of being part of something alongside her heroine. First, the performance anxiety made her hesitant in her actions, which is devastating for a character that has been shown to work terribly under this type of pressure. Her vision of how the quest should pan out in terms of living up to the vision she'd gotten from the books stopped her from finding the simplest solution. Her reverence combined with an eagerness to be like her heroine distracted Daring Do several times and worsened the situation. When she was fully rejected by Daring, Rainbow Dash took it hard and understandably so. This is when it fully hit her that if she couldn't be anything more than a distraction to her heroine, then she wasn't worthwhile to the situation and was led to believe that everyone involved would be better off if she wasn't involved. Rainbow Dash experienced both previously mentioned pitfalls of not only her heroine not being able to live up to preconceived expectations, but also realizing that she can't live up to those expectations herself. At this point, she's dealing with major confidence loss on two levels. When we meet these pitfalls, it's important for us to step back and remember exactly who and where we are, as well as why we are striving towards our goals. We may want to be like our heroes, but we are not our heroes. We can do good works as ourselves, so we need not waste our time trying to be like them when we can focus on being just as good or better in our own way. Those we look up to need only serve as inspiration and fuel for aspiration. Conversely, we need to remember that more often than not, our heroes are just other people that we look up to. They will all likely have just as many, if not more, character flaws as you do, that you will not likely see unless you get a chance to be close to them for extended periods of time like what we saw in Daring Don't. Rainbow Dash is not Daring Do. The path through life that Daring Do took allowed her to become Daring Do, but Rainbow Dash took a different path. A path that led her to be the only pony to perform a sonic rainboom and a double rainboom at least twice each. A path that led her to be a part of saving her country on multiple occasions. A path that led her to the Wonderbolt Academy and will hopefully lead her to becoming a full-fledged Wonderbolt someday. Rainbow Dash is not Daring Do. She is often tactless, hot-headed, and jumps into conflicts way too quickly without analyzing them first, where Daring Do tends to be strategic and cunning. However, Rainbow Dash is loyal, brave, and ready to help whoever she can whenever she can, where Daring Do is cold and callous with interpersonal interactions. As soon as Rainbow remembered these things and climbed out of those aforementioned pitfalls, she was able to show her heroine just how valuable and helpful she is as herself. So if we can know how to look up to our heroes while still being able to step back to evaluate ourselves and know how to apply our individual strengths, then perhaps we could do the same. And that's the moral of the story. If you have a topic you would like to hear discussed, or if you have an episode, fanfiction, product, or anything else you would like to hear reviewed, send me a YouTube message or leave a comment below. You can also drop comments, questions, topic suggestions, and review suggestions by liking Brawny Debates on Facebook, following on Twitter, or sending an email to bronydebates@yahoo.com. Have a great day, and I look forward to hearing from all of you soon.